Okay. So hi everybody. And if if you know of anybody who's dropping in, they'll just be hi. Linda, hi, XT1710-02. Hello. If you it's like the Star Wars thing. Okay.
No, that's me. That's my phone. I'm doubling you on the phone so the connection won't get lost.
Okay, cool. All right, that's great. So hi everybody. Listen, let me make sure that everyone has a pen or a pencil. This is what I refer to as a pen, just for a little visual aid here, so we don't get too static. Pen, piece of paper, everybody. So if possible, do all this writing by hand today. I know that we spend a lot of time on keyboards. We're going to try and break that habit a little bit tonight. If you don't have anything available beside a keyboard, stay with us. We'll give you a pass for today, and we'll talk more in a little while about why it's important and what matters about writing by hand. What gift it provides for you. Okay, so if you will, everybody, just close your eyes for a second. Don't worry, you won't see your screen for a moment. You'll survive. Just close your eyes, take a deep breath in your nose, out your mouth. Once more, nice deep breath into your nose and hold and release it from your mouth. And just roll your neck a moment. Another deep breath. And grab your pencil and paper. Check your chat. Here's your first cue. 2 words. I am. Get out of your head and just write. I am. Ten more seconds. Okay, let's begin. Just gonna make sure your mute is off so that you can speak freely. Doesn't matter if you're looking down or you're looking into the camera. We all know where you are. As long as you don't leave the room, we'll be fine. So, Rachel, I am. Can you hear me, Rachel? No? Okay. All right.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, so Rachel, what did you say? I am. What did you write down?
Oh gosh. Okay, but on the spot.
Oh, sorry, Rachel, your sound is breaking up.
I am me. I am unique. I am different than the sound's breaking up.
No, that's good. I am me. I am unique. That's a great beginning. Teresa, how about you?
I am a little tired, but not so much that I can't do more. I am hopeful.
Okay, Anna?
I am Anna Shea Davis, and I have no idea what I'm doing.
Okay, you know what, Anna? I feel the same way. Half the time I'm awake, I have no idea what I'm doing. So welcome to the club. We'll figure it out. Don't worry. Linda, how about you?
I am exhausted and wanted to sleep, but I also am curious.
Good. Exhausted and curious. That's always a good combination. Wendy?
I am hopeful, but wary.
Hopeful and wary. Yeah. Okay. Well, we're not going to get into politics, so we're going to leave that one alone. Okay. How about you, Hank?
I am somebody new. I am with you.
Cool. Okay. Sheila?
I am are vibrationally high power words. I am one with everything in the universe.
Wow. Okay. And Meg?
I am a producer, a caring mother, and I don't sleep because I never want to miss anything.
Okay. So let me go just for a second to Anna. And Anna, do you get what people were filling in? Sometimes people were just writing, I'm exhausted, I'm hungry, I'm tired, I got it, I'm itchy, whatever it is. That's a very immediate thing in the moment that identifies our physical existence. And then Sheila was kind of bonding with the universe, if I could put words in her mouth for a moment. And other people said, like, I'm unique, I'm curious, I'm a mother, or you could fill it in with I'm a teacher, I'm a student, I'm a daughter. But I'm giving you too much of a head start. Is that okay? So if anything, take a moment, Anna, even while I'm talking, to jot down stuff that's popping into your head. And the first lesson to learn is don't edit. For all of us, we want to try to step aside and go forward at the same time, so we don't get in our own way. Sometimes thinking is really the barrier that we all need to either jump over, dive under, or just pierce right through it. But most of the time, if we think about getting out of our own way, then the curiosity can just kind of take a life of its own, and we can have more fun. We can reveal more to ourselves. So if you will, now that you've written down, let's say some of you have at least 3 things that you wrote down on I am. Just circle one of them. Circle one. And now I'm going to give you 2 minutes. I want you to write down as many details as you can on that one thing. They don't need to be complete narrative sentences. They could be cryptic phrases. They could be words. Some of you might draw a picture. That's fine. If that picture later will conjure up a narrative, that's fine. Everyone has their own shortcut, or their own codes, their own kind of internal emojis, whatever you want to call them. So you can use those too. So here we go. 2 minutes to write on that one word that you circled. Go. Okay, we're halfway there.
Sheldon, come get your phone. That's really rude.
Okay, 10 seconds. Just kind of close up whatever sentence you're working on. Okay, everybody. So let's hear what a few people have to say, so you can take off your mutes if they're on, so we can all hear you. Wendy, are you a teacher?
Yes, I am.
What and where and who and how?
I taught middle school English for years.
Oh, cool. Okay. Are you teaching now?
Not now, no, but I was subbing up until the pandemic.
Right. Okay. Well, how about, can we ask you to start off and share what you wrote?
Sure. Okay, I am hopeful the pandemic will end sooner rather than later. I'll be able to get on a plane again, see my friends across the country, hike the Rocky Mountains, walk the beach, see my Yankees live, have a barbecue, and visit the last 2 continents I have left.
Ah, okay. Wow. That's sort of kind of tips my curiosity already. Let's see. Adam and Zohar, are you guys still here?
I think they've gone.
I think they're watching the World Series pregame. Okay. All right. Anna, how about you? Did you figure out something that you want to write about?
Well, I wrote,
Cool.
I think I am a student, but it is hard to tell these days. Entering a new school without really entering it feels like I'm not really going to the school at all. Maybe in my next life, I will be a lizard. I won't have to worry about school at all as a lizard, only when I must lick my eyeballs next.
Wow. That was fun. Let me stop here for a second because Anna, what you talking about really suggests kind of like the essence of what this little writing prompt and this little exercise is about, which is identity. And you just demonstrated that right there. I'm a student, but I'm not really even sure what that means anymore. And I think a lot of us go through something similar all the time, even pre-pandemic. Sometimes if you think back to what that was, it feels like it's been like that for so long. But I remember when I was going to school at different ages, I wasn't always like, what does this even mean? What's it for? And how do I link up with my other students or my fellow students, or how do I identify with my teachers? I think we're all in a constant state of trying to figure out our identity and what it means to us. And it can be fluid. It's not always one thing. We don't stay always in one lane when we're driving. So I think at any age, our own identity, how we see and feel ourselves, and how we express it, how we put it out into the world, is a constant. It's a constant test. It's a constant challenge. It's a constant revelation. And writing is sort of the bridge between who we might feel we are and who we want to be, or when we are feeling somehow disjointed between who we think we are but who we actually are. And sometimes when we write, we can figure out all that chaos in between. So that's where it gets useful. Who else? Linda?
I wrote about, I said, I am curious to meet creative people, hear authors talk, curious about how other people solve problems, how computers work, how children think to solve mysteries, and where people get ideas. I'm not sure I did the assignment.
No, it's fine. I think as you can tell, it's a very flexible one. It can go a lot of different ways. So for example, Anna, if you don't mind, I'll come back to you as a demonstration. You started off with something very real, kind of concrete. I'm a student, but I'm not really sure what that is these days. But then you morphed literally, metaphorically into this lizard riff, which is sort of, you kind of segued from nonfiction into fiction, I think, unless you're hiding something. That's actually a nice transition. That's what curiosity will do. That's what our imaginations will provide for us when we open ourselves up to them. Sometimes just doing a little breathing that we did in the beginning can help us open up those little brain waves that will give us our imagination. It's all there. It's just a question of whether we want to access it or not, and how we do access it. So writing exercises like this, I think, are at the heart of what we do, whether it is fiction or nonfiction. Sometimes they blend, sometimes we hit a pivot point, but always our sense of self is a dictator for that. Whether we're feeling comfortable in our own skin, whether that pen or pencil feels comfortable in our hand. So let's take the same idea and switch it over into this. We had I am, and now I'm going to ask you to turn a new page in your notebook, or just flip it over wherever you are. And here's your next prompt. Just two words, to do. Everybody knows what this is. It's a to-do list. Some of you have them up on your refrigerator. Some of you have them in your phone. Some of some of you may even write these things on your hand sometimes so you don't forget. So I just want you to write 5 things that you think should go on your to-do list, whether they're pragmatic or philosophical, whether they're personal or abstract, all good. No rules apply. To do. Fill out your list. Ten seconds. Okay, so Rachel, what's on your to-do list?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, this is much better. I had to move. I'm gonna start writing my 3rd year of marriage book. I have to plan the New Jersey Alphabet City tour I would like to do with my husband next year, and start a speech for work about my boss receiving a Lifetime Achievement Award based on things that he had done for a university.
Wait, pardon me for a second. Were you the one who wrote down exhausted before?
No, I was the one that wrote down I'm
Oh,
unique.
I thought maybe after that list, exhausted would be fitting. Yeah.
Oh, it's very fitting. It's very fitting.
Well, something to look forward to. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay, Teresa, what's on your to-do list?
All right, well, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, great. It seems silly. Laundry, read more, sleep, study, understand, and listen.
Cool. No, there's no right or wrong here. I mean, laundry is important, you know? Yeah, laundry's important. I don't think I need to explain why, do I? Okay. All right. We could do a whole special class on laundry. Meg, how about you? What's on your to-do list?
Okay, clean the house, clean the computer, clean my mind, travel, read more, get veggies for the dog.
All right, Mark. Okay, Meg and Teresa, you two should probably confer on the cleaning thing. You probably, yeah. All right, and wait, who else do we have? Oh, Hank, what's on your to-do list?
Breathe, be philosophical, be the change you want to see, be me.
Be me. All right, cool. And hold on, Anna, are you still here? Yeah. Hi, Anna. What's on your to-do list?
Essays by Friday. Science lab didn't finish in school. Walk the dog, skate, catch up on 15 chapters of Tale in Two Cities, somehow sleep, and clean my school stuff for tomorrow.
Oh, you like stabbed me in the heart with like catch up on 15 chapters of, oh my God, that's wow. Okay, so let me ask you one question. What happens to your head? What happens inside when you're walking the dog?
Well, mostly it's please move, because she hates walks.
Because she what?
She hates walks.
Oh, okay. So you have to really focus on the dog.
Yeah.
To have your dog like keep moving. Right. Okay. I was wondering because maybe sometimes walking the dog is a chance to let your mind relax a little bit in the midst of that really intense to-do list. Wow. I think we all want to come over to your house and help you. Sheila, how about you? What's your to-do list?
Yeah, I love this because several of you are in my Friday writing group class, and we do a lot of work with to-dos and not to-dos. So I wrote a bunch of stuff, but my last line was, I get a lot done when I write and ignore my to-do list.
Okay, cool. I was going to actually throw out kind of maybe the opposite approach. So much of the time, to-do lists sort of originated mostly on people's refrigerators, with laundry and pick up the dry cleaning and mow the lawn and buy the food and stuff like that. And we're so oriented with those two words to not think about stuff that's inside. Like, what do we need to do for ourselves? Like, I need to call my aunt who I haven't spoken to since the pandemic, for example, or I need to tell my mother, Anna, this is not only for you. I need to tell my mom that I love her and that I appreciate her. Because actually now that I sit down to write, I'm thinking, oh my God, I take her for granted like 24 hours a day. And I should maybe not do that once in a while. Or for those of us who are parents, to extend that appreciation to our children, even if they don't call you enough. Okay. Whose dog is that?
Meg's, that your dog?
Oh, man. Okay.
Yep, sorry.
Can't
Okay.
figure out how to mute those animals.
Yeah. So here's what I want you to do. Circle one of the things on your to-do list, like you did with I am. Just circle one. And we'll spend a couple minutes here writing a story, just expanding on that. Think about the details that go with it and how those details make you feel. And go.
Could you repeat this?
You're going to circle one thing on your to-do list and jam on that. Write about that. Some details. They don't have to all be complete sentences. You just want to expand on that one thing that you had on your list. Details and how those details make you feel. Okay, halfway there. Okay, if you can take 10 seconds to wrap up. Okay. So let's see, who wants to read? Who's going to start off to read what they've just written? Linda?
My word was connect. It would give me pleasure to phone Cynthia. It's been over a year. We used to write more letters in that time. Text Nancy, send an email or phone her. Sit silently to connect with myself. Listen to my thoughts.
Connect. Excellent. Because that really opens up, you open up a really big landscape for yourself there. I think if there's a key word, sometimes we want to simplify things as much as possible because there's so much noise out there. That's why you notice that all of these prompts so far, they're very concise. And so if we can find those kind of prompts for ourselves, sometimes in this day of social media, they're out there on the screen with emojis and other sort of code words and things like that. But I think we have to kind of make our own lexicon, and connect is a big one because it's internal, it's external. You pretty much covers everything, but it's one little word. Great, thank you. Anna, you you okay there? Can you read what you wrote? Thank you.
I still don't really understand why we're supposed to read an incredibly outdated book written about a topic. Oh, my thing was catch up on 15 chapters of Tale of Two Cities.
Okay.
To read an incredibly outdated book written about a topic so long ago that the idea has already repeated itself several times. The original point of the novel is to not forget the reasons revolutions start in the first place, right? But like, it's already happened. There's already been revolutions that have happened, constantly over the past 300 years. And in that point, it doesn't really make any sense to read about that one, because it's like, it was written too long ago to, make any sense to a 14-year-old in 2020. So it's not like I'm learning anything except for densely.
Except for what? I didn't hear the end.
Write densely, otherwise it won't be interesting.
Ah, okay. I'm going to be really blunt with you. I'm probably not going to wade into that. I'm going to leave that for you, in between you and your teacher. But I would say, like, the one word, like when we get a keyword like history, and we talk about old books. I don't know if you or anyone else here is connected in some shape or form to religion. But I would just, for example, cite the book, the Bible, and how people thousands of years later, amazingly, they're still talking about it. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm not really going to weigh in on that because it'll give me a headache. But old books sometimes have new messages if we read them from an open mind. Okay, so that's really all I want to say about that. Plus the fact you might as well keep the mind open, because if you're stuck doing the homework, you might as well find a way to spin it and enjoy it, because you're stuck doing it anyway. Right? You can't
Can I
get
ask what the book is, Anna? I was curious what the book is that you're having to read. The name of it.
Tale of Two Cities.
A Tale of Two Cities, right? Yeah. Okay.
They signed that 100 years ago when I was in school, and that's what they do.
Yeah. All right. How about you, Rachel?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I circled the plan the New Jersey Alphabet City tour, and I need to start planning where to go, what cities to attend, and mainly how far, how if we want to do 2 cities in one day, if we want to make like Trenton the cutoff, that way it's like Trenton and north, that way we're not going all the way down to Cape May. And just all the planning in between everything else that I have to do. So it's exciting because it's a new city, but it's also a little bit anxious of like, oh man, now I have to, and then timing of the schedules, everything's just kind of not really, there's no plan right now, actually. It's in the very beginning stages.
All right, cool. Let's see, Sheila.
Oh my gosh. Probably because I'm tired, because I've been writing all day. This is sort of making no sense, but I chose the word ignore and started with resistance gets me to do what I usually ignore. I resist organizing the backlog on my computer, on the floor, piles, books, binders, folders, papers. I can't get rid of them. I resist the overhaul, the complete Maria Kondoing of my stuff. So that's why my to-do lists are something of a sham. And yet they do work, because I get a lot done by avoiding what I should do. So it's just expanding that.
Okay. Okay. All right. Hey, Hank, how about you?
My word was breathe.
Breathe.
You must breathe in to breathe out. Breathe so I can breathe you in. Breathe deep, the gathering gloom. To see something breathtaking would be so breathtaking.
Wow. Nice play on words there. Okay, so here's one point I want you to hold on to with this exercise with the to-do list, is that mix. It's sort of like when we talked about that kind of crossover and that gray area between fiction and nonfiction, and then here in the to-do list between the real and the abstract, and where on kind of like the two sides of our imaginations, and sort of like the before and after of what we need on any given day, in any given moment. If you I think each of you can kind of define that for yourselves in what makes sense. Wendy, I see you here. Did you you popped right up in front of the screen?
I figured that out.
So I don't know how that happened, but here you are. So why don't you close for us on the to-do section today and read what you wrote.
Okay, so my word was finish. Finish. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Finish my half-written stories. Of course, I love to write, but I'm lazy. I need deadlines. A thought or idea jumps into my mind, and I write the piece in my head. But then I type the first half, fussing and fiddling with phrases and rhythms, and I never finish.
Okay, cool. So you know what? Thank you for sharing that. This is a perfect segue into this next thing. I think probably, I don't remember what grade it was when a teacher did some sort of who, what, where, why, when, or do I who, what, where, who, what, why, where, when, or where and why? Who, what, where, why, when? And for many years, you sort of forget all about that. And then I realized that those are really the fundamentals when we come to writing, and they all start with a W.
Yes,
and so the who kind of goes back. If we think about who, we break that down, it really is very, very directly connected to I am and where all of I am can go. And on any given day, that I am exercise, if you choose to do it, just as a warm-up, as a stimulant, as a relaxer, whatever your needs are in that moment, that's always a good one to propel you forward. So when we identify who, as in who are you writing to, is another way of looking at it. Who are you writing for? Who's your audience? So for example, Anna, even when you're doing a homework assignment, if you can imagine who are you really doing it for, sometimes that'll help you, especially when it's through one that you don't really want to do. And we all know what it's like to have homework that we don't want to do, whether we're in school or we're just not. So we always have to do things we don't want to do. But I think if we can identify who they're for, or who you are writing about, who you're writing to, who you're writing for, sometimes those things will help us. If we go to what are we trying to achieve? So in a sense, beyond just, I'm just trying to hand in my homework tomorrow, but maybe there's a bigger purpose. And I think if we give ourselves a moment to figure out what that end game might be, that helps us to facilitate the ease and the rhythm that the writing is asking for. And then the other question, which is fair enough, is what's in it for you? What's in it for me? So we each ask, what's in it for me? What am I doing this for? And what do I want to accomplish? So then we go into the where. Now here we get into something more concrete. And my question would be, where is the best place to write? For example, each of you, wherever you are right now, is that really the best place in your house or wherever space is available to you for writing? I'm guessing that some of you might be sitting at a kitchen table where you also each month sit down to pay your bills. And that's not necessarily the most conducive place to write creatively, whether it's coming with ease or it's coming through struggle. Your mind goes to a certain place when you're going to write bills. For example, Anna, if you're sitting at the same place where you do your homework every night, but tonight in the class with me, this is playtime, or we hope it is in a way. So maybe you want to pick a different spot where you don't feel the obligation to write and hand it in on time and do it just exactly like the teacher said, and do it with a book that's old that you don't want to read. So like, why sit and write in the same place where you're bringing all that to it? Maybe find a different place where it's open, where there's no previous agenda, where you don't have a history. So your mind can go a little freer. I always love to write when I'm on a moving train, because the feeling of being carried and being transported without actually, like when I'm driving a car, it's very different. But the movement is really nice. So even now during COVID, if you feel safe and you can get on a subway or on a bus or in the back of someone's car when they're driving, and you won't have any motion sickness, I would encourage you all to experiment with writing on a moving vehicle. There's the where. Why? Why are you writing? It goes back to the same kind of core question, like, who am I? And I am. And the same thing, like, why am I writing? What am I, what's it for? And the same, the inverse of that, the other side of the 45, if you will, is why am I struggling? Why am I denying? Why am I avoiding? So sometimes when we just go to answer those questions and stop trying to create the content, if we just try to figure out why are we even doing the content in the first place, then the content flows more freely. And then when. And again, this kind of matches up with the where. We want to write in a place that we feel really comfortable and that invites us to write, but also when. So I think if we start to understand our biological clock even better, when is it best maybe first thing in the morning, even before you even get out of bed, to have a pen and paper near your bed. So when it's totally raw, when it's totally open, even if it's only for 5 minutes, that you lay down your agenda for what you want to come back to later that day. And then you need to get out of bed and go to the bathroom and get your day started and all. But those 5 minutes that you spent before you left the bed, that may be a beautiful seed for what you're going to come back to and revisit later in the day, or not, maybe not even until that night. But I think if you can pay attention to your own rhythms, and they may change during each day, depending on what your work is, depending on who's living at home with you or not. But these basics, who, what, where, why, when, if we re-question ourselves periodically, I think they help to give us a road forward. Any questions so far? Okay, let's jump here into, let me just type this out for you. Okay, our next one, hope and fear. So let's just start with hope. Actually, you know what? Let's start with fear. Let's write down 3 things that you're afraid of. 3 things right now that you're afraid of. Could be a word, could be a phrase, could be a sentence. 3 of them. They could be tiny, they could be big. Could be Meg's dog. Ten seconds. Hank. Fears.
Mosquitoes, girlfriends, the Reaper.
Okay, but not necessarily in that order. Okay, yeah, okay, all right, good, thanks. Rachel.
Failure and COVID.
Okay, fair enough. Wendy?
I'm afraid I'll never get organized and we'll run out of toilet paper again.
Okay, good, thank you for being honest. Okay, all right, Linda.
I love that, Wendy.
Thanks, Linda.
I put fear. I'm afraid of listeria and not being able to eat my turkey sandwich for lunch, and another day without exercise. They just said there's a listeria outbreak.
Okay, okay, Teresa.
Fear, sickness, poverty, not being needed.
Ooh, wow, okay. Anna? Hi, Anna.
Oh, hello.
Hi.
Marching band tomorrow. I haven't memorized my music. Reading 15 chapters of Tale of Two Cities, and dentist.
Okay, you notice that the Tale of Two Cities came before the dentist. So wow, that's serious stuff. Okay, all right. Meg. Meg? Okay, all right, good. So now just circle 1 like we did before. Circle of hope, and just give yourself, not me, give 2 sentences, just 2 sentences on that fear. Okay, anybody share? Anybody ready to read? And I'm gonna ask you a question. First, actually, Anna, I want to just commend you. There were a whole bunch of kids who signed up, and I don't know what happened to them, but everybody else here is not 14. And that's all I'm going to say about that. So I want to thank
Multiples of 14.
Yeah, multiples of 14. There you go. All right. Don't get
I'm
into,
second
sounds like a
youngest,
math.
Anna. I can relate. I'm second youngest.
Right. Well, the multiples of 14 sounds like a math class. Let's
But
not predict.
Tuesday night might be having the OB home reading Tale of Two Cities. That
Yeah,
could be.
Exactly. That could be. So, Anna, let me ask you though, with the one fear, which one did you pick?
I chose dentists.
Okay, so you're not beating A Tale of Two Cities to death totally. Okay, good. All right, so there's still hope for literature somewhere. All right, because you have to admit, Dickens, even though it may not be a book that you would choose, you got to go, okay, this guy actually is a decent writer. Okay, all right. What did you say about the dentist, Anna?
I said, the bringer of inner and outer pain. I hear her saying cavities in my nightmares.
Good. You got a whole story there, actually. Seriously, and it's something that everybody can relate to. Even people who don't have their teeth anymore can still feel the pain. All right. Anybody else want to share what they just wrote?
Sure.
Okay, go ahead, Meg.
Okay. My first tarantula experience was in the Dominican Republic. I found it lying under the sink. The second was uptown in Harlem with the dog groomer. I thought those things on the shelves were sculptures. They were tarantulas.
Oh, my God. Yeah, you just reminded me of, I have a tarantula story too. When I was in the desert in the Middle East and sleeping in what I thought was a tarantula-free tent, and it turned out not to be. And it was on top of my sheet, and somebody said, you got to move slow. It took me about 25 minutes to slowly, like literally inch by inch, remove myself from under the sheet, get out, grab a broom, and I beat it to death. Yeah. So just telling it like it is. Okay. So I'm going to ask you to do one thing. Just stand up for a second and sit down on your hands. Sit on your hands. And just look around the room where you are. Those of you obsessed with cleaning, try not to see the dust.
It's clean.
Okay, so release your hands. And I want to write down 3 hopes. We had our fears. Let's go to hope. 3 hopes. Ten seconds. Okay, so Wendy, hopes?
Okay, I hope to stay healthy and vibrant, keep my sense of humor, and not turn into a cranky old lady.
Okay. Good. Again, not necessarily in that order. Okay. All right. Hank, how about you, Hank?
I pass. I have no hope.
What? Okay. Rachel?
I hope to accomplish everything pay all the bills, and find happiness.
Okay, so wow, that's a great example of we're going from stuff that's really pragmatic, pay all the bills, and then something that's in a way much more abstract, but can be derived from things that are very realistic and pragmatic, which is the whole happiness. So it's a very interesting mix in that way. Teresa?
I hope the show goes well. Long story. I hope my daughter is happy, and not to get political, but I hope a certain person wins.
All right, good. And Sheila?
Because you said don't get political, so I don't want to throw the
No,
name in.
it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Hope is the other side.
I think I know. I think I have a sense of where we all are, and if it wasn't that way, I probably would have broken out in a rash by now. Okay, Sheila, how about you?
Okay.
Sheila?
Hope, the other side of fear. I hope I don't rely on hope too much. Hope is the corner of my heart that's lit up, and hope is the taste of a new idea or curiosity freshly bursting.
Beautiful. Hey, I would ask everybody to write that down. Hope is the other side of fear, because that's a really provocative thought. It's not necessarily exactly true. No, I wouldn't say it's not exactly true. It's not necessarily the truism that each person would think of in those words, but it's definitely something that ought to be looked at even just as an exercise. Okay, Meg, how about you?
I hope to visit my son and his wife soon. I hope to spend more time doing things with my friends in person. And those are my key things.
Okay, Anna?
I hope I get an A in math. I hope I learn how to do a kickflip, and I hope I keep up with my sports.
Cool. What was the second one?
I hope I learn how to do a kickflip.
Oh, kickflip. Okay, cool. All right. So Anna, if I see you again in another class, will you do the kickflip from your room somewhere just to show me? Deal?
If I'm able to do it, sure.
Well, okay. Even just when you're like halfway doing it, that's cool too. All right. Because then like weeks later, when you actually did learn it, then I'll even appreciate it more. Okay. Wendy, how about you?
I'm sorry, what was the question? I was listening to Anna.
Hopes.
Oh, I think I read it. To stay healthy and vibrant and maintain my sense of humor.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. My bad. Okay.
That's all right.
And anybody else? Who did we leave out? Anybody? Jump in.
Linda.
Oh, Linda. Sorry, Linda.
Okay. Complete my writing submission for Friday. Go for a walk tomorrow and breathe.
Okay, good. Sometimes like the basics, like I hope I can breathe again when I finish this sentence, like that kind of stuff. Yeah, all good. So again, all of these things are so basic, and I just repeat them just so we can kind of put all this together and you see how they actually fit. A little bit different for each person, a little bit different at 9 o'clock in the morning than they might fit together in your mind at 9 o'clock at night. They might fit differently when you're sitting and eating something you really like. They might feel a little different when you're sitting there with your mouth wide open at the dentist's office. So all of these things, but I am, to do, who, what, where, why, when, and hopes and fears. If you just kind of list those out and look at them on a piece of paper, you'll see how they all overlap and coexist with each other, not always equally, not always with the same weight or with the same lightness, but they all coexist. And I think the mystery is to sort of figure out where we are on any given day, in any given moment, how we take what's in and put it out there. So let me ask you, are there any questions that anybody has? This would be a good time before we close. If there are questions about anything that have to do with any of the upcoming classes, any questions on some of the things that we've done here tonight. Just no predictions on the election because just don't know.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I type much faster than I write. Why were we using pen and paper?
Well, writing, obviously it's a physical thing. It's physiological. And I think that especially in the day and age that we are in for a long time, since everybody's like addicted with keyboards, whether they're on our phone or an iPad, a laptop, a desktop, whatever it is, there's a physical thing that happens. And I think that we lose the personalization of handwriting. For example, if you think back to when you were a child and when you might have first gone to a sleepaway camp, or the first time when you had a birthday and an aunt and an uncle or grandmother or your parent wrote you a letter and you saw your name written in someone else's handwriting, there's an ownership there. There's an ownership from the person who writes it, and there's an ownership from the person who receives it. And I think we lose that when we spend all our time with electronic instruments. And I think it helps when we can write by hand. Sometimes it may only be, for example, the to-do list. Maybe you put that to-do list in your own handwriting, the short and sweet kinds of things. When you really need to explode on the narrative, you do. You want to have an instrument that's going to keep up with your brain. But sometimes writing by hand also slows it down. Sometimes it's a great editing step when you write something by hand, and then when you go, even if it's a few hundred words, when you enter it into a keyboard, then you have the option to almost effortlessly do your first wave of editing, depending on what the writing is. They all call for a different thing. For some people that take the opportunity now to throw this out there. I've worked a lot over many years teaching writing workshops in cancer centers and within the cancer community. And a lot of the patients that I deal with have trouble if they're doing chemotherapy. They have neuropathic trouble. So there's a neuropathy that a lot of times their fingertips can't either hold, or there's pain, or they're just, the grip isn't there, or they just they're physically tired. Same thing, they can't type because they don't feel the keyboard in the right way, or they're just too tired. But they can press the dictator button, whether it's on their own email or it's with a dictaphone or whatever instrument they might use. So I would encourage some of you to speak, do a verbal thing. For example, if you're taking a walk in the park, you take your phone with you, you can dictate. And you can really personalize it in that way. And that may be only the first raw wave to get a draft of something, depending on what you're writing, or it's very personal in the fact that there's your draft for the letter that you want to write to somebody. It's in your voice because you're the one who's speaking it. So it's another way to craft your writing, depending on what it is. Some people, have a facility for that, depending on whether it's nonfiction or fiction. That also makes a difference in the best way to actually the mechanics of it, which are the best way. Anybody else have any other questions?
David, I really loved what you just said. And I know when we talked last week, and I was thinking to Teresa's question, that sometimes you just have to be very specific about what it is you're writing. I used to love to write a lot by hand, but I have some finger problems, so my handwriting got awful.
Right.
But the little short stuff, there's something wonderful about it. And I recently came across a whole bunch of letters from family members who are 50 years older than me, and we won't have that stuff because nobody's writing them anymore.
It's so personal.
Oh my God, it's wonderful.
Yeah. It's a very
and it just doesn't hold up, in text messaging. The other thing I wanted to say is I think that all of your exercises pointed to is to have a little bit of thoughtfulness around your process, whatever it is, whether it's rolling out of bed and quickly writing, or where, like, for some reason, even though I have a perfectly fine room to write in, the lighting isn't right, and I always end up at this one spot because the writing is perfect and the chair is perfect. So something about thinking about the how, what, why, where we're writing, when. Maybe you need to write in a red notebook one thing and in a gold notebook another thing.
Yeah. I think that's really where I'm heading, is try different stuff, because we can get really locked in. I mean, Anna, even at you're 14, but still 14, you can get locked into habits that actually aren't going to free your head for other things. So even like where you choose to do your homework, if you've sat at the same desk and gotten frustrated because of this guy Dickens, idiot Dickens, then maybe try reading Dickens somewhere else, like stuck in the bathroom, or while you're eating, or just try different things. So he might become more palatable, and you might be going, God, we only have to read 15 chapters. I want to read the whole book. So, I'm just saying, I mean, all joking aside, where and when really do play a big role, especially with stuff that we feel any burden from, whether it's homework or laundry or whatever it is that we're writing about. I think that those who, what, where, why, whens have a lot to do with it, so that we also don't take these things for granted. Because every day more that we're on the planet existing and living, we're taking something else in a tiny, tiny way more for granted. And we have to sort of try to balance that out, by refreshing constantly, rebooting. Yeah, refresh. It's not just for computers. Anyone else have any questions? Okay. You've all contacted the Knowledge Project, whether it's Meg directly or the office or whatever. Anybody who does want to get in touch with me for anything, you can always reach out to them through the contact that you had to register for this class, and they'll put you in touch with me, and I'll be glad to communicate with you that way. So we're just going to take a moment. I just want you to write down 3 things that you could write under the heading gratitude. I am grateful for, I feel gratitude, whatever the heading is for you. 3 things. You can't steal Anna's, because Anna's going to write Charles Dickens, of course, at the top of the list. So don't steal that one. Okay, that's enough. Don't think about it too much. Rachel, one of yours. Just each person one. Just pick one. Rachel?
The only one I thought of was life. I could not.
Oh, well, that leaves open a lot of possibilities. That's good. That's good coverage. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Good. Why not? Sheila, one?
Wonderful expanding community.
Good. Meg?
Being able to think.
Okay. Wendy?
For my good neighbors who saved me today when the battery in my car died.
Woof. Okay. All right. Maybe you want to write him a thank you note, actually, by hand. Okay. Linda?
Yes, I would.
Okay.
Curiosity.
Sorry?
Curiosity. My
Curiosity. Oh, you're going to win me every time on that one. We all have to, like, if it's not there, just like stick a knife in your eye or something so you get it. Okay. All right. Teresa?
My health.
Health. Always good. Anna?
I'm grateful for the technology to talk to my brothers and play video games with them, even from multiple states away.
Oh, cool. Okay. Nice. And Hank, are you there? Okay. So did I miss anybody? Sometimes I'm clicking. Okay. All righty. So we're going to end with one last, I'll call this one an assignment. I want you, and normally we share this more when we're like in person. We draw these out of a hat, but I'm just going to ask you, and this is strict. You got 5 seconds, pen in hand, get ready, write down guilty pleasure. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put your pen down. No editing. This is the raw truth. Okay, Meg.
Bread.
Bread? Just bread, not bread and roses, just bread. Okay.
Bread.
All right, just bread. Wendy.
Ice cream.
Ice cream. Okay, good. Now we're getting to it. All right, Linda.
Chocolate.
Chocolate.
Very food.
Teresa.
Netflix.
Oh, oof. Okay. All right. Sheila
Whipped cream.
and Wendy.
Ice cream.
Oh, ice cream. Sorry. And Anna.
Phone.
Did you say phone? Did you say phone?
Yes.
Oh, I thought you said Charles Dickens. I'm sorry. Okay. Good. Good. I just wanted. They didn't sound alike, but maybe it was just me. Okay. All right. Did I miss anybody?
Rachel.
I was
Rachel,
gonna.
sorry. What's
Someone
yours?
took mine chocolate.
No,
Then
no,
I
no,
wrote. Then I thought books, but chocolate came first.
no, there's enough chocolate to go around. Don't worry. I think we're good.
Must be hungry.
Okay. So listen, thank you everybody. We're a little past our hour, but I think we're okay. I hope that this gives you kind of a glimmer into what can happen when we're going to write, whether it's creative writing or whether it's going to be actual like homework, quote unquote, style writing, whether we're in fiction or nonfiction. We really want to try to always break it down into something that's manageable and approachable, that hits our little curiosity bones, and that gives us energy to bring ourselves to it and make it unique to us. Even if it's fulfilling a homework assignment, like what is it? What's it? It's my homework assignment. It's not yours. It's mine. What makes it mine? And what makes it? How do I own it when I hand it in? Anyway, thank you, muchly. And I hope to see you all in another group. Okay. Anybody else have anything to say, or we can say goodnight?
Yes, sign up for the wonderful, deep, creative, curiosity-invoking classes with David and any of the master classes, any of the Knowledge Project coaches, or get your friends in there, especially if they're younger than most of us. So Anna's just the right age. That's
Anna, what grade are you in?
I'm a freshman in high school.
Okay, so you've already done. Okay, so you're on the younger side of freshman. Okay, so well, coming up ahead, eventually you're going to try to figure out how to break down the whole essay writing process and how to do that. Maybe one of these classes will be helpful for you thinking ahead to where those will get you. And you're always welcome to bring your friends if it's something you want to do. To have a friend or two doing it with you, because it's also it's more fun, and you can both trash Charles Dickens together. Okay. All right. So now that we've really
we can do group classes very easily.
Right.
fun to do.
And I promise you, Charles Dickens will not be in the curriculum. Okay. All right. So thanks everybody. Have a great night, and let's hope that next week we'll all feel even better.